Well, Nigerians on social media have continued to react to a viral video of the Lagos State First Lady, Ibijoke Sanwo-olu, where she attributed the death of Dr. Vuaredi So in an elevator accident at the General Hospital, Odo, Lagos Island, to an arrow fired into the health family. Reports gathered that Diaso was in the elevator on her way to get her food from a dispatch rider when the incident happened on Tuesday. Now, she was rushed to the emergency ward of the hospital where she was confirmed dead. Now, following this, her colleagues besieged the premises of the hospital in protest on Wednesday and grounded activities there. Also in protest, the Nigerian Medical Association Lagos State Chapter Chairman Dr. Benjamin Olojebutu and Secretary Ismail Ajibowo directed all doctors working in the three government hospitals on Lagos Island to begin an indefinite strike. In the viral video, Mrs. Sanwo-olu, while addressing the protesters, linked the incident to the helicopter accident that occurred in the state earlier on Tuesday. And she said, an arrow has been fired into the health family. Now, the 1st of August is a day I will never forget. That's quoting her now. She says, still with me virtually. Okay, she did say the 1st of August is a day I will never forget. An arrow fired into the health family. All right, an arrow fired. Now, we still have Nick Agule and Great Emo with us. Nick, well, Nick, let me start with you now. Now, before I come to you, let's listen to the statement coming from the horse's mouth now.
1st of August is a day I will never forget. The same day a helicopter crashed. The same day a lift dropped down. How? 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 Arrow has been fired into the health family. 1st of August is a day I will never forget. The same day a helicopter crashed. The same day a lift dropped down. How? How? How?
All right, there you have it, where she, was saying how did it happen? The same day, a plane crashed, a small plane crashed, the same day. Elevator fell from the 10th floor all the way down. How? Well, Nigerians are right there on the floor, right there. I think she got answers to the how right there. But great. Let me start with let me start with Nick. Let me start with Nick now. Nick, I will also come to you, great. But let's start with Nick. Nick, what were your thoughts on the elevator accident? Your thoughts first of all, and I'll have you, great, also give me your thoughts much later.
How?
First and foremost, before I give my thoughts on this unneeded accident, preventable accident that claimed the life of this young doctor, I want to take an
All
opposing
right.
view to social media critics
Go ahead, please. Go ahead. I couldn't hear you earlier.
against the first lady of Lagos. Yeah. Yes. So first of all, let us give it to her that she responded to this tragic accident by taking her time to go to the hospital to commiserate with the medical community or the hospital community. So that was a good thing. At least it shows responsiveness on the side of those who are in the corridors of power. And in making her speech, she could have used a wrong terminology. I think what she would mean by an arrow was like not in the diabolical way, not in the witchcraftery way, but the fact that something this tragic has come in the life of one of the members of the community in that hospital. So I think we should say the flag. She tried to do what she could do in her own best possible way. Now, looking at the issues, it's the same thing that we have been discussing here. You find out that government officials in Nigeria try to do our job. Myself and Greg, we are public affairs analysts. Our job is to ask questions about how. We are also to proffer solutions to government officials. But you have people in the executive arm of government. The First Lady is not the governor of Lagos State, but she sleeps next to the governor of Lagos State. So when you see public officials come and asking how something should be done, this shouldn't be there, you know, it beggars belief, because the truth of the matter is that they are in the driving seat. They should be doing what they are asking about how it came about. The stories out there is that the lift in that hospital has been bad for a very long time. And complaints have been laid. Government has not responded, but you will see that the Ministry of Health in Lagos State has got budget, and things are not working. So at the end, the life of a doctor, a young lady who has spent time in medical school and ready to serve, the cut short. And this was totally preventable, and it is actually quite saddening that we have come to this point. So Lagos State government should stand up now and do the right thing by ensuring that there's proper maintenance of not just the lifts, the other equipments in the hospital. And we talked about the fact that in that very hospital, the doctor was rushed to the emergency unit of the hospital. There was no blood. This is unbelievable. You know, that we have people in government who don't ensure that these things are available. So the First Lady has to talk to her husband to do the needful.
All right then. Great. Now, let me come to you. Yes, the how. The how is the fact that the lift was not maintained, not properly maintained. The how is negligence of somebody somewhere that felt, oh well, if it can work, let's just, allow it to work. Now, if it's an arrow fired, a question I want to ask you, if it's an arrow fired, shouldn't we be looking for who was holding the bow and the arrow in the first place? Anyway, let me get your response to this and also your thoughts on it.
Anyway, the truth is that you need to understand where the First Lady is coming from, and to the use of language. Speaking metaphorically, we're a country where our failure to man our environment have been have become the relative to the spiritual problem. Let's be frank, we should understand ourselves. She's trying to abdicate responsibility here by telling the people of Lagos and Nigerians that what is a mystery. But unfortunately, it has been said that for more than going to 2 years, that elevator has been having series of problems upon problems. It works and it stops. You can even imagine that this is a lodge for medical students doing their housemanship. It's a 10-story building where people who live on the 10th floor sometimes need to walk the stairs, including sometimes pregnant women who are doing their housemanship. This is a symbol of the negligence. This is a symbol of the irresponsibility of people in government. To start with, as tragic and as important as this had happened in a state, there is this role that the First Lady is playing. It is unconstitutional, literally. Yes, she can come and commiserate as a human being, but there is no official role designated for her. Where we are supposed to be seeing the governor, we didn't see the governor. Where we are supposed to see the deputy governor, we didn't see the deputy governor. At least we expected to come and stand before the people to give account, the commissioner for health, not the wife of the, but if she chose in her unofficial space, because all these offices of the first lady are not constitutional, but let's say because she decided to show sympathy and she showed up there. The other thing we must understand is that, I've said it before, some of these people ruling Nigeria, we take them too seriously. We take some people too serious. People where they, there's something we say on this, there's a strict balance when we're communicating. On the street, we say, they play too much. They use us, they play, but we they take them serious. A number of people, leading are just people who came to joking about it, and people end up taking them seriously. They are not prepared for the job, and you see them on the field because they just come, say one or two things, and they themselves, they are surprised to discover that you took them seriously. So when you give them the opportunity, they don't understand protocol, they don't understand governance, they don't understand strategic planning, they don't understand anything. Go around, they do, how do I call it? Whatever their hands can touch, be in the news, wear agbada, make some people even have hope. Yet they're not leading you anywhere. They cannot show you a vision of where we are going to. They rouse you and everybody keeps on going. Arrows fired is a statement that borders on the background thinking of the First Lady as saying that what government of Lagos State refused to, simply repairing the elevator, even the hospital management, because you might even go and find out that hospital has a budget, that the money has been allocated, but senior officials in the management board are them every year. So that something as serious that is threatening to life as having elevator work can be ignored because somebody has filled his pocket, because somebody wants to go and spend 20 days in Dubai. He put the life of everybody using that elevator at risk. I'm telling you, by the time you go deep and they probe all this, it's just because before like NSAS, they'll start covering and start lying for themselves. If you probe this thing and make it open, you discover that Lagos State government has even budgeted money for the hospital management to do that job, to keep the elevator working, or even to change it, for top management officials to share them, go to Dubai to enjoy their life and drink champagne. That is the kind of characters you have in Nigeria. I hope people will know. So it does happen. So when you now see a governor's wife come and tell you that, what she's saying in essence, what happened is not the government. It's not the failure, maybe in order to defend her husband. She's telling you there's a spiritual problem. That is the metaphor. She was speaking metaphorically to mean that this is not man-made. Oh, it is spiritual. So it couldn't have been my government fault, my husband's fault, the government fault, the hospital management fault, or anything of such. That is a kind of unseriousness in Nigeria, that the things, responsibility that have been given to us as men, even when going spiritually, the Bible said the God has given to children of men as an inheritance, whether you're a Muslim or a Christian. In the Bible, from where I've read, he said he gave man here to dominate. Then in other countries of the world, people are building on water. In countries like Netherlands, Holland, people are living on water and they are building their life in the areas of Asia, China and others. They are conquering their territory. But here, people who are meant for God, for development, are the one telling us that what is happening to us is spiritual. They should go and govern in the spirit and let people get sense govern Nigeria. Please.
All right then. Well, Nick, I sorry, great. I must say your analysis got me chuckling quite a lot, but you've made valid points indeed. Now, Nick, let me come to you now, Nick. I understand that yes, there's a role of government in making sure that facilities are maintained. There's also a role of individuals in making sure that the things that government has put in place get to work. Not too long ago, we heard that I'm going to marry these scenarios for you now. The landing lights at the international airport was taken. Now that landing light was put there so that planes can land, can see the runway and land. But that was taken out by certain individuals. Now, since that happened, all we heard was that those that were on duty that they were suspended. But I haven't heard anything else in that regard. They were suspended, and yes, I think government came out to say, oh well, that runway wasn't functional. Regardless of the fact that it wasn't functional, the landing lights, was bought with money. All right. Now, also, the second Niger bridge, we heard sometime last month that the expansion joint at the median walkway of the bridge, at the Onitsha axis of it, was stolen on Wednesday, the 5th of July. The expansion joints stolen. And now, this one would say was done by individuals. Now, that in itself, if not replaced, can cause an accident. In this regard, should we blame government? Or should we blame the people themselves? I've also seen cases where the local government bring gravel and sand to fix roads, and they pour them on the road and wait for the contractors to come, and at night residents go to steal them to fill up their own houses. I've seen it happen. Now, what is the role of the people in this?
Thank you very much. I have heard these scenarios where people say the people need to be blamed for not doing their own part of the bargain. But the truth of the matter is that if you go to any of the developed nations, there is a correlation between law enforcement and development. So if you go to America, you go to Canada, go to the US, France, Australia, all of these places trying to. One thing that is common in all those places is that law enforcement is stringent. Why is law enforcement stringent in those places? Why can't the citizens on their own, stand up and do good? No, because humanity was not made that way. Humanity has been made to be run with the law. For those who read the Christian Bible, that is the template that God, the maker of humanity, actually brought. He made man, he gave man the law, man broke the law, he put man through trial, he punished man. Any society that is doing well, they follow this template. Because let me tell you one thing. Like you go to the UK, you see traffic lights. There's a traffic light there to regulate the movement of vehicles at a junction. Why is the government coming to plant a camera on that traffic light? Why is the government just letting that be? Then when citizens beat the traffic light, the government will blame the citizens and say, why can't you just take responsibility for yourself? You've seen a traffic light here. Why are you breaking it? No. Government plant a camera on that traffic light so that those who the traffic light, the government comes after them. That is how you run society. You cannot allow citizens to behave as they want with no consequences, and you expect to have a decent society that you enjoy. Never happen. If there's any country that law enforcement and is doing well, I want somebody to tell me that country now. There is none. So we should stop this idea that citizens need to be blamed. No. Government is the one, all the leaders in Nigeria, the president and the governors, they took an oath of office where they swear that they will defend our constitution. And so if anybody runs contrary to our constitution, it is their job to defend it. I have not seen anywhere, and I've been to a few countries where citizens are allowed to behave as they like, or the law takes its course only if you're a poor man or you don't have connection. If you're a big man, you have connection. Yesterday, Donald Trump was indicted for the third time, a former president in the US. So this is just the basic reality. If government puts a bridge, government should secure the bridge. Put a camera on the bridge, because 9% of the citizens can behave well, but there is a 1% that are rogues that will go and take that. And if they take it and go free, nothing happens to them, then what stops other people to now start going to carry the expansion joint? What stops them from packing the gravel? It is the government that protects society. To me, I put it squarely back to the government, and I don't blame elsewhere. Citizens are not blamed. If they break the law, the government picks them out and puts them through the justice system. That has to happen in Nigeria if we are to develop.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Nick. Now, Nick, I'm going to get your final thoughts on this. And if there's anything you think government can do differently, especially as it concerns the death of the doctor, Dr. Voire Diaso, and well, NMA, the Association of Medical Doctors, they've embarked on strike in Lagos, and all the chapters in general hospitals have embarked on that strike. Now, those that will suffer are the patients. Those that will suffer basically are, the common man, because I don't think government officials use these hospitals at all. But let's get your final thoughts as we wrap up. Nick.
It is sad. The doctor shouldn't have died.
Okay, let's stay with Nick now. Let's stay with Nick. Nick, go on, please.
Yes. As I said, it's very sad. The doctor should not have died. The doctor's death was totally preventable. The government didn't need to wait for the doctor to die before they would do the right thing. But now that the doctor has died, let her death be the catalyst for government to pay more attention to the health. All over the world, government don't release healthcare and education totally into the private sector. As Great was saying, government subsidizes those services. So the Lagos state government, please maintain the hospitals in Lagos. But for the doctors, I appeal to you that please, you have already made your voices known. Suspend the strike, because other patients are going to die if you don't come back to the hospital. And let us wait to see the action of the government of Lagos State.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Nick Gule. Now, great email. Let's have your final thoughts as well.
Well, I want to first comment on the rails that were from Second Niger Bridge, and as Nick rightly said, it is a failure, because any society that works follows simple rule. It is the law of cause and effect. There must be consequence for every action, good or bad. But I want you to know this. A complaint of people stealing street lights and stealing all those, you forget that there is a motivation for what you are seeing. In a country where presidency can be stolen, gubernatorial office can be stolen, the local government office can be stolen, senatorial office can be stolen. I don't even know. You telling us that somebody is stealing something, so part of the bridge or something, a manhole on the bridge. That when there is no consequence for those who stole gubernatorial offices, senatorial office, presidential offices, is it people who stole manhole that will be caught? So there is no consequence for every action. And let me tell you, go back in history and check. There was a time in Nigeria when Nigerians were not like that. In the 70s, in the 80s, Nigerians were not like this. Gradually, they've degraded Nigerians, and many people are now at the point of desperation. Once you don't cure the issues that make Nigerians desperate, once those who are supposed to be used as example of law and order, then you can't get the society to follow. And whatever, for that happened in Lagos, it is quite unfortunate. I really sympathize with the young lady, and it's difficult to know. I don't think it should take years to know how and what went wrong there. Who was in the elevator? Was there come to the management, to the attention of management that it was bad? Was money made available for either is for repairs or for it to be totally changed? If all these things were done, those who did not do what they are supposed to do should be held liable. But for now, it is unfortunate it has happened. And like Nick said, I will beg the medical doctors that while they are standing, firm on their demand, that those who failed to take care of these things be, brought to book. They should also not lose the sight that other people's life might be in danger, who they are trying to save. So they should please return to work. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, great emo. Well, I must say a very big thank you to you two gentlemen, Nick Agule and great emo. Thank you for staying with us today on VOP this morning. From the world of business, we hear that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has announced its partnership with NIPCO Gas Limited for the development and deployment of compressed natural gas stations across the country. CNG, popularly called autogas, is another form of fuel that could be used in automobiles, and the push for its adoption had been high since the removal of subsidy on premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol. Now, speaking at the headquarters of the national oil firm in Abuja, the Group Chief Executive Officer, NNPCL, Mili Kyari, stated that the President, Bola Tinubu, directed the oil company to source for alternative forms of fuel to cushion the effects of PMS subsidy removal. He explained that under the NNPC NIPCO strategic partnership, 35 state-of-the-art CNG stations would be constructed nationwide, including 3 mother stations. Now, according to him, once fully operational, the stations can service over 200,000 vehicles daily, thereby significantly reducing carbon emission and associated impact on climate. Now, he noted that to deepen and sustain the initiative, the NNPCL had floated NNPC Prime LNG Limited for domestic LNG production and supply. All right, to another business story. Now, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria Export Promotion Council has stated that limited access to banks' financial services by exporters is one of the significant challenges stifling the smooth growth of non-oil export in the country. Dr. Ezra Yakusak stated this while speaking with export desk officers from 29 financial institutions during a capacity building for bankers on non-oil export commodities at the council headquarters in Abuja. Well, do recall that the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, recently increased the benchmark interest rate to 18.75% from 18.5% in May. The event, themed Enhancing Non-Oil Export Growth Through Effective Export Procedures, Documentation and Logistics, was part of the Council's efforts at strengthening collaboration in promoting export competitiveness to achieve the economic diversification agenda of the federal government. The NEPC boss, in his welcome address, explained that the role of the non-oil export sector in the economic development of Nigeria, stressing that the sector presented excellent opportunities for more Nigerians to participate in the global market space to earn more forex. According to him, most exporters lacked the financial muscle required to get up modern export-related industries and production of high-quality products. He noted that as a result of this, banks must provide financial support to increase the issuance and processing of NXP forms, which led to an export value of $4.8 billion in 2022. And that's it from the world of business, just those stories there. Well, stay with us as we have more business stories coming up later in subsequent programs on VOP TV. We'll go on a break. When we come back, we'll have entertainment and sports. Stay with us.
Let me hold it. Let me hold it.